What's up, guys? It's been a little bit, but I'm back with some more reviews. And today's review is on the Florida Fishing Products Bahia 1000. I've had this reel for about 3 months now, and this thing has been doing some work here the last few months. It's extremely smooth so far. Hasn't let me down, so I figured just do some quick specs on this thing before we get into the pros and cons of this reel. There's not much information on their website or the box, so I only have like 5 specs for you for it. But it has 9 ball bearings plus 2 sealed bearings. It's got a 5-to-1 ratio, so for me during the fall and winter, when the water's starting to cool, starting to work slower baits, Ned rigs, Iridine, stuff like that, I like a little bit slower ratio. But this 1000 right here has 18 pounds of drag. Not that I'm much of a drag spec person, but 18 pounds for a 1000. I think that's probably the most I've seen out of a reel of this size. The weight comes in at 6.25 ounces, so it's really light. And the retail price on this for the 1000 is $174.99, but I believe they have it all the way up to a 4000, which runs about $219.99. So it's not too bad of a price reel. It falls right in line with the Shimano Altigra price range. As far as pros and cons, I have a list here again of those. I usually start with the cons, at least cons to me in my experience and whatnot. So a few cons with this is the reel itself. So everything with the reel related is all made in China, shipped from China. So some people consider that a con, some people don't. The only reason I put it in the con section, it really doesn't bother me. It's just because I know a lot of other people kind of make it a con, but most stuff nowadays is from China anyways. But other than that, that's not a big deal to me, but I'll put that under the con section for most. Another big issue, a con for me, is it's got a multiple piece bail. Unlike the Shimanos and Daiwas and the Pens and stuff, it's a multi-piece bail. So like from this part over, it's not one piece. Not sure if you guys can see it on here, but you can see it's connected here. It's a multiple piece bail. And I'll use the Shimano Stratic 1000 as an example. As you see, it's all one piece. So that's one con with this. I like one piece stuff. It's more stable, it's more durable. So that's the reason I'm putting that in the con section. The other con to this reel is it's got a multiple piece handle. Again, another reason I don't like multiple piece things, it's another area that can break easily because it's another part you gotta fix. So you've got that multiple piece handle again. Unlike the Stratics and Daiwa, all Daiwas, I should say Shimano instead of Stratic, but Shimano Daiwas. But as you can see, it's like this is a Stratic 1000 handle, one piece. Again, the one piece stuff is more for stability, durability, longevity. So again, that's another con for the reel, the multiple piece handle. Now that being said, with this multiple piece handle, I haven't felt any ill effects of it yet. There hasn't been no actual play like in the handle itself, so it's not really that big of a deal. But again, I'm more of a one piece handle and keeping that longevity and durability, stability within the reel. Also, when you open up the bail, unlike most reels, so like I'll do it here, there's absolutely no click and there's no locking mechanism. So when you freaking go, it'll see, it don't lock into place. Now when you take the Stratic, for example, from Shimano, when you open it, listen, it has a click and it has a locking mechanism. So that's actually 2 cons right there in one. No clicking and no locking mechanism for the bail system. So if you watch this again, you got the lock and the click, and there's no movement at all in the handle. So that's another con for this. And the reason that's a con for me, and this is my biggest con and my biggest hype with them, and I've made sure to message them about this situation. So what happens when you go to cast, especially like if you're me and either you miss a fish and you reel in real fast and you want aggressive cast out, or if you're wade fishing like myself or in a kayak, or you have no choice but to face into the wind, your cast has to get really aggressive, really whippy to get out there through the wind. So with no click and no locking until it turns, this bail tends to slam shut a lot on me when I go to cast, especially if it's an aggressive cast. That being said, that's my biggest con on this reel so far. So just be warned on that. And it's not just this reel from them. I've had the original Osprey, I've had the Osprey CE, I've had their top line reel, which is the Osprey CE Pro. They all do it. They don't have a click, and they don't have a locking mechanism in that bail. So be fair warned on that. But overall, the reel's still good, but just be warned on that piece. So that's kind of actually three cons in a row right there. No clicking, no locking mechanism for the bail, and the bail slams shut. The price of the reel is $174, like I said at the beginning, up to $219 for the 4,000 size. The price is not too bad. I mean, I put it on the con because the Shimano Tigra runs around $149.99 right now, I believe. Maybe slightly higher, give or take, like $10. But I believe it's right around $149.99. This reel in general, not the 1000 in general, but the actual Bahia in general, runs about, the Tigra for the specs and everything is about that way. Another con for me for a reel is this reel. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's got a bunch of outside body screws. I'm not really a fan of that because one, it's telling me it's got multiple pieces on there. Two, with all those screws, that's potential for multiple areas for water to get in. Not saying it's going to, but there's a chance of it could possibly get in there. But when you take, again, I'm just using, because it's the reels I use is Shimano's. But if you take the Shimano Stratic, which literally only has one screw on the whole outside of the body, I'll take this as far as, you know, if you're gonna be wade fishing heavily, or if you're going to the beach or whatever, so less likely water's gonna get in. As of right now, no water's gotten in this, but that's another con for me. So just kind of keep that in mind with all the outside body screws, because it's not just that side. There's like 2 or 3 on this side. Just keep that in mind. Other than that, still no problems with this. Another con for me, there's not really too much info on the reel. Again, like I was saying at the beginning, I gave you the specs. That's all the specs you have. But mind you, if you go on Shimano's website for any of their reels, they'll have like 2 pages worth of specs for you. Not necessarily 2 pages, but you know what I'm saying. Just a lot of specs, a lot of information on the reel, what the reels are made from, where they're from. Heck, even Shimano Stratics, actually, matter of fact, all Shimano's, on the back of their reel seat, it'll actually tell you where it's made from or made in. So like the Stratics are made in Malaysia. The Twin Powers and the Stellas are made in Japan. You know, they're pretty much right up front about where their reels are made and shipped from. You know, like even on the Florida Fishing Products, it just says Florida Fishing Products. They don't have it where it's made from. And I don't know why they like keeping it like kind of a hush-hush thing or a secret. But when you mention China to them, they get kind of hissy, and I don't know why. Who cares where it's made from? Just be upfront about it. About, you know, like Shimano's straight up front with it. They don't care. I like that. But that's pretty much my cons of the reel, and they're really not that big of a deal. But they, you know, could be depending on your situation, your personal likes, your personal preferences, and so on. We'll get to the pros now. The pros so far for me have been the design of the reel is beautiful. I actually love the design. I love the color of it as well, so that's another pro. It's just simple black, simple chrome. I love the cut inserts right here and the spool. They don't go nothing crazy. The reel itself in general, the drag, the reeling, everything is super smooth on it. I've had no complaints with the performance of the reel. The reel's been great so far. I've landed trout up to 27 inches so far. I've landed reds up to 28 inches so far, and a couple snook hitting roughly around the 30-inch mark on it so far. Mind you, the 1000 reel. The other thing I love about this reel, it's got carbon fiber drag washers, so you have the smoothness and the durability. You don't have to worry about that felt washer bull crap that Shimano hands you, and 3 or 4 trips, the felt washers will blow up and you'll see it coming out the top of your cap. Absolutely disgrace on having reels that price, having felt washers still to this day. And also, some of the Shimano's changed to Duracross, and they still don't last. They say they do, they don't. They're still crap. If you're gonna use carbon, use carbon. If you're gonna use felt. But me, I'm 100% carbon. Longest lasting washers. I've got some reels that I've been in there for 4 years and still running great. The other 2 things is a 2-in-1. The warranty and the customer service that Florida Fishing Products gives you versus over Penn, Daiwa, and Shimano that I've experienced over my last 33 years on the water is second to none. Like, they top notch. They do anything and everything for you to get you back in the water as fast as possible. Their actual reel service center is actually within our office, which is located, and their headquarters / reel service is actually located in Tampa Bay, Florida. So for me, it's literally a 10-minute drive across the bridge, and I'm at their office and reel service center. So that's one plus, big time on that. You don't get that with Shimano or Daiwa and all that. You got to send it to them. Chances are to either send that reel somewhere, or they have to wait for parts to come in from, whether it's Malaysia or Japan. Granted, they probably, Florida Fishing Products probably has to wait for their parts to come from China as well. But I believe they do bulk up on their parts, so chances of you waiting is very slim to none. It's a pretty quick turnaround. The other thing I like about this reel, you really can't see it. I would take the cap off to show you, but you got to take the drag stack out. This reel has a ball bearing in the drag, so it makes the drag even smoother than most reels. The reel actually balances really, really, really well with my rod, and I'll get back to the rod I pair it with here in a moment. And again, I love how lightweight it is. Again, it's 6.25 ounces, extremely lightweight, balances really well with my rod. And matter of fact, since we're talking about the rod yet again, let me bring that out real quick. I got it over here. I have it paired with a Bull Bay Banshee. It's another local company here in the Florida area, more specifically Lakeland, Florida. This is the, let me switch it around. This is the 5 to 10 medium light. I don't know if that's gonna come in well or not, but it's a very nice rod for your typical inshore stuff, trout, redfish, snook. It's a medium light. It's an extra fast, but this thing absolutely balances beautifully. I have no complaints on it so far. I throw artificials, this is my thing, so I throw those all day long. Most of the time it's either a top water or it's a soft plastic. So having a rod that's balanced really well works out well for me. But this thing is just absolutely amazing. Most of the time it just matches up well. I also paired up my reel and rod with 8-pound Cortland line master braid. Thing throws a country mile, but overall this combo is sick. If you guys want to try it, you can go ahead and try it. I don't think you'll be disappointed with it. I think you'll love it. But this rod itself, again, has an extra fast tip. I personally like the extra fast rods because, to me, in my experience, I like my rods a little stiffer. That's what she said. Sorry, I just get a little squirrely sometimes, but with the extra fast tips, it's nice, especially when you're facing in the wind. That tip comes back into place real fast, and when you cast it in that wind, it just snaps. So it kind of almost loads a second time, if that makes sense. Cuts through the wind. Also about the extra fast rods is because the extra fast kicks in so much faster at the top end of the rod, the backbone actually starts kicking in a little bit quicker than like a fast rod or a moderate fast rod. So I like that because, especially if you're using weedless hooks, it really sets the hook quicker and faster and usually like dead on. Now the only downside to that extra fast rod is sometimes it can pull hooks, but I rarely have that. So if you get a good hook set with it, because of that backbone and extra fast tip, usually it's in there. You don't have to worry about it. Anyways, enough of the rod, back to the reel. Absolutely love the reel. Like I said, I gave you my list of pros and cons. If you guys have any experiences with Florida Fishing Products itself, Leave a comment, you know, what reel you got, what size, what you use it for. Like, I love chit-chatting about gear. I love chit-chatting about fishing. I usually pretty quick to respond as long as I'm not at work. If I'm at work, it's usually in the evening time or the morning, early morning. But other than that, that's just a quick review of the Florida Fishing Products Bahia 1000. Absolutely gorgeous reel. Again, any comments or anything, just leave them in the comments. Any questions, leave them in the comments. Any experiences, leave them in the comments. And hopefully you guys like this review, and I'll be back on track with making some reviews. And until then, until next video, I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy your time on the water.